I'll never understand. Never, ever, ever will I ever understand. What is this so-called amazing thing about the PlayStation 5? It honestly makes no sense. Because what has the PS5 offered anyone who has it? I tell this to my friends all the time. The PS5 has offered no one anything of any substance, any relevance, or anything that could actually be considered, art in any sense of the word. It makes no sense because at any given time, all of these games are coming to PC anyway. So I'll just be here waiting for the day it happens, and I can just soak in all the tears, all the rage, all the salt. Not even trying to be this PC master race person, but I might as well be, considering the fact that these guys just don't seem to understand that you need games of quality to actually sell a console, not its exclusives. You need the services of the console, not its exclusives. You need to determine the value of what that console can give you, not its exclusives. And the only reason I say this, and this is coming from someone who used to console game pretty heavily, as I made the switch almost a year ago, I decided, hey, I'm going to just buy this PC, buy 2 monitors. I didn't even have to really pay for any of my peripherals considering where I work. So that's a benefit for me. And like I have one little one-handed keyboard. I have a Logitech keyboard, a Corsair mouse. I have this friggin' office chair. I'm gonna get a gaming chair at some other point, but that's not the point of the video or the point of this recording. The point is the PS5, hell, this entire generation, not even just a PS5 at this point, this entire generation has not been at its best, like, ever. It's like, yeah, the Nintendo Switch is still like chugging along pretty well because it does have a multitude of games and different style of games as opposed to what Xbox and PlayStation are putting out now. And I'm going to have to exclude like Hi-Fi Rush or Sea of Thieves because though those games are different, yeah, I'm not even excluding them because like they're Bethesda games or whatever the hell. It doesn't matter to me. That's not really a point of contention or criticism because that would just be extremely arbitrary to even bring that up. So it's more so the fact that they've come at a time where different games almost mean nothing to the norm because everybody is still going to be playing the norm. And yeah, that does extend to Nintendo as well, because despite how much money they make and how good their games can and generally are, like as good as they can be and generally are, not that many people will go out of their way to buy the game on Nintendo Switch, because it's like, what's the whole point when they don't conform to the norm of, this whole stupid little battle with consoles? It's like freaking Nintendo bowed out of the whole console war thing after the Wii U. We know this. And it was mainly because the Wii U was marketed poorly. That's number one. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, because if they tell you otherwise, they're just stupid. But the Wii U, despite honestly being a pretty decent console, all things considered, it just wasn't marketed well, and that was mostly because of Nintendo still trying to be competitive in the console market with Sony and Xbox. So honestly, it made sense for them to just like bow out while they had the chance, because if they would have tried to continue, they would have to contend with the freaking backwards compatibility of the Xbox One at the time, because this was when the consoles that this was a time where the consoles were still like being touted as you know game movers, which really wasn't. Well, except for the PS4, really, because the PS4 actually did do a lot of good things. But if anything, this can be a lesson learned as to what not to do when it comes to making a buying decision for certain companies. The reason why the Switch is getting ragged on these days, it's mostly because it's an underpowered machine. If they had just invested in better hardware, then maybe people would see Nintendo as more of another contender, really. It's like, sure, they are in second place, but honestly, they might as well be in first, considering the fact that they're the only ones that really have a really good output of games through and through most of the time. The Xbox is doing poorly because, well, they don't really know how to market their games all too much. It's like, sure, they get free marketing from the Sony ponies, but they need to actually market their games. They actually need to do more marketing. They need to make it seem like their games are freaking, the experience to have on that platform. Like, that's the problem with Xbox, because they just really don't market their games all too much, and even when they try to, it still gets just overshadowed by, say, a PlayStation announcement or something. And I kind of believe that's intentional. That's just me, though. And for PlayStation, the problem easily just falls to the fact that their freaking games aren't all the hype that they make them out to be. And it's like, once they crash and burn with what they were trying to go for, then all of a sudden it's everyone else's fault, and never, Sony's fault for just doing a piss poor job. Like, if I actually invested money into buying a fucking PlayStation 5, I would have probably just been miserable. Because if I have to wait an entire year for freaking PlayStation games, not third-party games, PlayStation games, and it's mostly because these guys don't actually give a damn about, the content that we want, or, what would actually make us happy. Like, they don't care about that. They're just trying to get as much money out of you as possible. And if they actually cared about what you wanted, then, you know, they would actually still be making games of quality. But they don't do that anymore simply because there's no money in trying to invest in actual good games now. They just want to hop on the popular trend, see if it works, and then move on to the next trend. PlayStation users, Xbox users, Switch users, I implore you, as someone who has switched to PC for almost a year, please, for the love of everything, demand more. Demand better from your platforms. Stop letting them just gouge money out of you. Stop letting them take advantage of your willingness to pay for their shit. Alright? Just stop it. And also to you fucking Sony fanboys, I don't know why you're so excited about playing Indiana Jones on PS5 when you are still going to be paying full price for an Xbox game.